Hi there, the name's Nico, and today we'll be going over patch notes 0.56, if I remember correctly. I'm just going to be doing this slideshow that my friend Wraith Kira made. I'll link his Twitch in the description if you guys want to go check him out, because he spent a lot of time on this, and I think these slideshows do an amazing job at showing, as well as telling what the patch is, so you guys can have a visual and not audio, a written description of the patch. Yeah, I just say hopefully have a snack, have a drink, because there's a lot of stuff to cover, so let's go over. Don't ask me about the Toyota Prius stuff, because this is my friend's stuff and I have no idea anything about this, but okay. So here's our notable adjustments. You can see everything that they're doing. New things, character skin, some new content, two new sub augments, and we have a Nikki bundle you can buy because they're adding Nikki emotes. So if you like Nikki, her skin honestly is one of my favorite skins in the game, especially for an uncommon skin, and you just like the emotes, then you can get a bundle. Yeah, so news cosmetic, we have Celine. Honestly, I like the base skin a lot for Celine, so maybe it's just me, but I understand the theme they're going for, so it is good in that sense, but I just really like her base skin. So, and yeah, the Nikki emotes are cute. I don't know, my favorite Nikki one would be probably the dorky one on the right. So yeah, first thing we have is the system improvement. So this is auto attack canceling. You can see attack animation canceling common concept in MOBAs and RTSs. Honestly, I don't know what RTS is, but probably my bad. Anyway, it generally refers to the action of canceling your attack moves as soon as the attack windup animation finishes. When done right, it lets you perform your next attack or action or attack sooner, allowing for better kiting. However, canceling the attack move too early would cancel your basic attack altogether, so timing is important. We're implementing animation cancel calibration, which essentially is a timing window buffer that aims to make the flubbed animation cancels less common. With this, we hope to make kiting and overall movement feel more smooth. Basic attacks for all characters and weapons will now feel more smoother. Some weapons at mastery under 5, because this is just because of the low attack speed. That's why it says it's not below 5. Maybe a bit stiff in the early game, but we're planning to improve this in the future through tweaking attack animation frames. So yeah, just the attack speed. At low levels, you have low attack speed. Most characters scale with attack speed, so it's not as stiff. We expect more transitions between basic attacks and movements to be smoother. However, we recognize that better kiting might help some characters more than others. We'll keep a close eye on how these improvements affect different characters for future balance updates. Yeah, this is mainly going to be for your EBAD casts. Some exceptions would be Bernice would do this. I've seen at low ping where you can just kite people forever, and not take any damage, just go hit them for. If this might make that smoother, but you can't do that at NA ping at all, so it's not a concern here. But yeah, you can notice the difference. This is the old one, and then this is the new one. You can see how he's able to move a little bit quicker than this one up here. It's hard to see, I don't know, for me it's hard to notice between them when I'm looking between the two, but you can just tell a little bit that it is quicker that this one is. So yeah, I think it's good change. Honestly, I think this is a good change. I'm just worried that some characters might be too strong with this, so you just gotta keep an eye on the EBAD characters. Next one, firearm reload adjustments. Okay, this one's the most controversial change of this patch. I'll just read over what it is. The reload function is a unique disadvantage that only firearms have, but we felt that having it on a manual hotkey needlessly reduced the fun levels of firearm-capable characters, so we're deleting manual reload altogether. Reloads will now happen automatically. The option to canceling reloads will make the experience much more smoother in many situations, but it will now be more difficult to try and weave skills during the reload animation to make up for the damage loss period. The reload trick has been deleted. Firearms auto reload 2 seconds after disengaging from combat. You can cancel a reload and attack if you had remaining bullets. Firearms will automatically reload once they're out of bullets. This animation cannot be canceled. Assault rifles overheat, which is their weapon skill, have been improved to match the reload changes. Check weapon highlights. So this is 100% a nerf to Devil's Marksman and Stampede, because a lot of times you like farm animals and you stay on the last bullet so you can chunk someone for their health when you re-engage in combat. And yeah, that can't happen anymore. As soon as you're out of combat for 2 seconds, it'll reload. So that's just a direct nerf for that. It does nerf certain characters that require a lot of bullets, or yeah, like pistols. I've heard this is gonna be a big change for Alex because he does a lot of pistol poking, and so since this animation is not cancelable and you generally kind of do like skills in between, it kind of makes combos not as fluid, especially if you're when you're at the end of your ammo. I honestly didn't know about I do agree with the fact that new players probably don't know that pressing F on weapon like pistols, assault rifles, snipers, any of the gun characters, to reload the gun. No, sorry, like they didn't know that pressing F would reload their gun, and I didn't know for like a while when I started playing the game too, because I didn't play a pistol character or gun character, so I didn't have to worry about that. So yeah, it is, if the tutorial didn't explain that, then yeah, like obviously it's not, you're not gonna remember. And I don't think the tutorial does, because they give you Hejin and Yuki, and both of those characters don't have a gun, so you don't have to do the reload thing. I think the reload button, like it being removed, it's better for, I don't know, I'd say it's better for like new players, but it does kind of, or it feels like it limits the skill expression a little bit, just because you normally want to reload between skills, and like knowing the best time to reload, like there's skill when it's the best time to reload your gun, right? And now you can't do that, but it might lower the barrier for entry for gun characters. I don't know. My changes, I don't know. My change for this is that I don't think it was really needed, to be honest. I think if you just explain, I think if it was just explained that press F to reload your gun was somewhere in the game without asking people, it would help for like new player stuff, because all FPS games is like you have to reload, right? Like it's not just this game where you have to reload or like you had to. All games you had to reload for any type of shooter. And so I don't think would be unexpected for a user to know that, or like expect that they have to reload their gun, right? So yeah, I don't know. I don't think this change was really needed, but we'll see how it is in game. I know a lot of people complained about this change a lot. So new features, teammate search improvements. Players with dodge penalty can no longer quick start or find teammates. They can still invite friends. The leave team, kick, or change party leader button will be available when finding or matching or finding teammates. Players can now leave the team even while finding teammates. Teammate search while auto cancel. Okay, these are just improvements. I don't really have too much problem with this because I don't really play like I play team modes, but I don't play random team modes anymore anyway. I used to on the old system. I played a few times on the new system. I like the old system better because I like getting a new teammate every single time, just to like see who I'd get. But UI improvements, you can now like move the hood, and you can, so yeah, you can see how like they move this around. You can move where you want it and it'll stay there. And just another thing, enable minimap movements function has been added. Character movement via control right mouse on the minimap will disable when this option is off. A lot of people have asked for this, so this is a really good change. I think, okay, and this is, you can now increment attack power, defense, and health by intervals of 10 to 100 by controlling Alt or click respectively. I think this means health, defense, and HP regen. There's no attack power on dummies unless they're talking about your own. Unless it says you can increase your own attack power, defense, health, which doesn't really make sense to me. So I think they just meant health, HP regen here. Okay, practice mode. Okay, yeah. So you can see this is what they. So yeah, it is the dummy. So you can see what they're doing. They're increasing it. It's a little bit small. Sorry about that. But yeah, they just increase it. The stuff characters. So yeah, there's the bundle I mentioned. These are price changes. Magnus is gone like really low for only 620 A coin now. The MP cost for characters, in my opinion, is not worth it at all. Like A coins are really easy to obtain. Like I'm like this pretty much. I'm pretty much this. I have more MP, but I have just about that much A coin. So eventually you'll get to a point where you have enough A coin, you can just buy all the characters and such. And yeah, but if you are on a lot of A coin, you always want to try Magnus. This is your best time to do so. Okay, we're gonna look at Priya. Okay, just looking at the base stats here. Oh yeah, I'll just do my base stats here. She's a little bit more bulkier for a range character. Like normally range characters are like below 700 health, but she's above it. So in her attack and defense, I mean defense is a little bit on the lower end, I believe. Movement speed is actually as fast as a melee, and she's a range character. So like just the note in this patch, I already looked at it, but I'll just give it a little foreshadow here. Lennox has got her movement speed nerfed to 3.5, so now Priya will be as fast as Lennox at base speed, right? And the only thing I noticed is that her HP scaling doesn't seem to be, well, actually it's not that bad. I think it's mainly, yeah, her attack power I think is a little bit on the low end, and I think her defense scaling is also kind of low. Masteries, it doesn't seem that bad. They also, I did notice they do expect her to be really strong in team mode, so they already preemptively nerfed her. But I honestly don't, okay, I'll go over the kit, but I don't think she has a place in solos in my opinion, just looking at her kit. I guess that's gonna be at the end of the slideshow, never mind. Anyways, we're gonna look at the new augments first. So we have a new Havoc one, Anima Reaper. This quest type augment might seem lame in early game, making sure look forward to what I can do later. So killing test subject bears or androids will grant Anima Reaper stacks. Each stack grants 0.1 attack power permanently, up to 80 stacks. So solos, it's 12. You get 12 stacks, bears, androids 10. Duos, it's also 12 and 10. The only change that's different is in squads, where kills is 8. And the bears and stuff is still 10. So it's interesting they say that bears are more valuable than players in squads, but whatever. And you got this level 18. I still don't agree with the augment barrier. Like augment's level gated, but my opinion right now is that, I know it's a sub augment, okay, so it shouldn't be that strong, but my opinion right now is it seems really on the weak end. Like it's not even as much attack power as any of the accessories in the game. Like Lace Quiver's 10 attack power. I think Buccaneers is 15. I think Hawkeye's 13. Like the attack power or accessories have more than just this. And just as a comparison, where you have Embolden as an augment, which can give you up to like 40 defense. And it's a sub augment as well. Like 40 defense is significantly worth it more than 10 AP. I know this is permanent, so I guess there is some room for that. I just think I'd probably increase it to 100 stacks, but I wouldn't really want to buff it any more than that. Like it's permanent. Like Embolden is only like a few seconds for a shield, right? Well, this is like, well, you get permanent AP increase. So but at this point, I think AP it does not seem worth it. I'd only have to compare it to stopping power to see. I have to do some math to see which is worth it, the stopping power or this augment, because if this augment's worth it more than stopping power, then it might be better. But yeah, currently my take is it's not that strong. Next augment is Head Starter. It's a support sub augment, so it's for trying to make your route a bit quicker. So what you do is you start the game with 1 snare in your inventory. The reason why it's 1 snare is so you can make hiking boots. Hiking boots is just snare plus branch plus rock. I don't make them that often, so I'm like 90% sure that's the recipe though. Out of combat, movement speed is increased by 0.03 when equipped with an epic or legendary lag item, and you get this at level 9. So getting 3 more is 0.03 more MS while out of combat, again, is not that much. I know it's a permanent increase, but it's like a sub augment. I know the only good sub augment in I'd say the 2 good sub augments in the green tree are Thea and Thorn Shackles. I'm gonna do a video on augments soon. I was just waiting for these 2 augments to come out before I did that video to see just like what their power level is and just to add information on them. But yeah, it's doesn't also seem that good. Like assembly's also like really good where you get your ultimate, you get a shield when you use your ultimate. I know it really depends on how much 0.03 MS is gonna save you over time because it's a permanent increase, right? So the whole game, as long as you are in combat, which the thing is, since they've added more animals, you're probably in combat more because you're gonna be killing animals on the way to things. So it's also even like not as good now as it used to be because there's more animals closer together, which means you'll be in combat more often. So yeah, I also think this augment's not that great. So battle changes, we have Nadine, then we're gonna say Nadine, and like some of the bow changes as well. And Nadine doesn't use ancient build, this is a real change, but yeah. Nadine has been doing well because they've increased the amount of animals on in the game, makes sense. And only people play bow. The reason why is because crossbow doesn't have any scaling on it anymore. And Nadine's Q and ultimate are like really good if you have skill amp. So it makes sense why like people, they're only nerfing bow, they're not gonna nerf crossbow. So for bow mastery, your skill amp's going from 2.2 to 1.9, so a little bit less. She doesn't use ancient bolt, this is a Rio nerf. Twin bow, she does use twin bow, and this is attack power is going up by 5, but using vision range. The vision range removal might seem weird, but if you look at the whole patch, you'll notice a trend in which they just nerfed the vision range of items across the board. It's not just twin bows getting a vision range loss, it's like pretty much all the items that have, or all the weapons that have the vision range on them are getting nerfed. And yeah, bow of rain, this is the biggest change. So level 1 bow skill or rain of arrows is going to do significantly less damage. So you can see it's going from 25 plus 100% attack power slash 225 plus 100% attack power to 125 plus 60% attack power, so to 200 plus 100% attack power. So level 1 rain of arrows has been nerfed quite a lot. Like this is just like the outer edge. Inner edge is 250 plus 200 attack power to 450 plus 200 attack power, and now this is going from 250 plus 120 attack power to 400 plus 200 attack power. So yeah, this is even nerfed even more. It might be, I know some people have complained about this, but I do really agree with this. The fact that bow skill has basically been like, at least for Hedgen anyway, and even like Nadine to like when they build amp, it literally just nukes your health bar. It's basically alt 2.0, but it's on a 25-second cooldown at level 1. There's so many characters that just get, for Hedgen, you just do your combo or your alt, and sometimes you don't even need your ultimate if you land center bow skill. And Hedgen actually has reliable CCs to get rain of arrows to land. For like a good Hedgen, they'll always land the center rain of arrows. So I do agree with this change, and hopefully I won't lose 700 health from center bow skill. So we have Nikki next. Okay, so Nikki, her last nerfs were a lot, and I 100% agree with that. So she's getting some buffs into her AP scaling, so not her base damage. This is so people, the thing is, like, amp doesn't really build attack power, so it looks like they maybe want to have more focus her to build more AP in her build. And yeah, this is not for meta. This is, Nikki doesn't build Divine Fist for meta at all. No, she mainly does amp. in NA, I've seen more like like auto attack Nikki, but it's still not that common. Okay, Tia. So we have Tia changes, more colors, or colorful skill palette. She is getting a buff. I'm a little bit surprised. I honestly, okay, originally I did think Tia was quite bad, but the more I've been seeing Tia play and like the more I've been watching, it seems like she's actually been doing quite well. But it looks like what they're doing instead is they're nerfing yellow-blue damage. So it's like the base damage is just going down directly, but they're giving more skill amp scaling. So I wouldn't say it's a buff, but it's more of a rework. But like her other spells will do more damage, but your yellow-blue, excuse me, won't do nearly as much. So, but I actually think Tia's in a pretty good spot right now. Well, like, I don't think she's top tier anyway since her form, but I think she's fine how she is. We'll see how this change impacts her though. Lennox, so yeah, as I said earlier, Lennox is losing 0.05 ms, and Snakebite is getting a 5% movement speed increase. Generally, this is only rewarding Lennox. Earlier, the best fisherwoman on Lumia Island changes to Lennox's movement speed. This is just a nerf overall, okay? 5% more movement speed on just Snakebite is not worth it. Like, you'll notice just in general, her chasing is going to be a lot weaker. And the Snakebite for this is just for kiting, but in general, you can't run away as well, is what they're trying to do. They're trying to make her more of a stationary battler, which I understand, and that's fair, I guess. Lead Island, I honestly thought Lead Island was gonna get hit with some more nerfs, but instead they're gonna actually, okay, in my opinion, it's technically a buff. We're making, okay, so for ultimate, collision range is changed from a circle to semicircle, making sure the island doesn't crash into enemies behind her. So, and after skill delay, there's no delay anymore. I think this is a buff overall for her ultimate. Like, sometimes people just like stand on you so you couldn't ult away. Now they can't do that, so Dylan can just get out for free. And now there's no after skill delay as well, so you can just hit afterwards immediately. Divine Fist is being nerfed. Well, I don't know if it's nerfed, it's more of reworked, okay? It's losing 7 EBAD, but it's now has no movement speed loss on it. So I don't think this, I honestly think this is, like, yeah, it's gonna do less damage, but I think the movement speed loss being removed on it was fine. Or like, they didn't really need to do that, because I think like there's the high EBAT on it was like a lot. And it's still quite high too, and Dylan still, I have to do retesting for Dylan. It might be better to switch weapons now, but previously it wasn't. So I don't think this nerf's gonna be enough for Divine Fist. I think it'll be just fine as is, and her ult just got buffed. So I don't know. Dylan's doing, her numbers are really good right now, so I don't know why they exactly are giving her improvements at all. Rio. Okay, Rio is a character that, yeah, in high elo, I explained in my like season 4 guide for her. It's still the same build they use now. They use music box now with like the item changes instead of active camo. It's just you can actually make, you're most likely gonna find 3 piano wire between 2 zones now, where before it wasn't that likely. But yeah, she's got a lot of changes to her. I don't see her as much in NA. She's just not that popular here. So I feel like there's worse EBAD characters here than Rio, but they're fine. There's actually a couple people that play Rio, and but I guess they're saying there's a high low KR. I guess it's an issue. I haven't seen it that much of an issue in NA, but whatever. Oh, so she's getting nerfed pretty much everywhere. Again, Rain of Arrows. Rain of Arrows nerfs is gonna affect everyone for like because it's AP nerfs instead of the base damage nerfs. Well, I guess level 2 is base damage, but the other's just AP. Yeah, Ancient Bolt's gonna get nerfed. Twin Bow, she doesn't really build Twin Bow. It's mainly Ancient Bolt. Diadem's losing some EBAD. Laurel Reef's using EBAD, but it's getting attack power instead. So I think at least it's still gonna be noticeable in Rado. I think the change, but I don't think it's as bad for the Laurel Reef changes. And her chest, the chest piece that she often uses, Crusader's armor, is also being nerfed by 1. They're just kind of nerfing EBAD, and I think EBAD's in a really good spot, so it makes sense to nerf it. So I think it's fair. I just don't think out of all the EBAD characters in the game, Rio's the one that needs nerfs. Like, if you only could nerf 1 EBAD, I don't think it's Rio. Mai's been snatching too many wigs in team modes, hefty adjustment, but helped her base power. I think Mai's honestly good in solos. I think, but I definitely think she's broken in team modes, but I think she's fine in solos. So it's very odd to me that they're buffing her in solos. I don't think she really needs it, personally. But I do agree with the fact that she needs team modes nerfs. So yeah, if you already hated facing Mai, congratulations, you will hate facing her even more in next patch. I hope you enjoy. Magnus and Barbara, there's like minor changes, so they're just combined. So we have Magnus, he is not as slowed down when he uses his W. And so yeah, if you looked at the Shukai Magnus duo comp guide I did, this will be even better, because before, like, the self slow, like, you get sped up from Amptron, but you'll be even faster now than before, so this is even better. Bang Mace is getting nerfed, even he starts getting buffed. The reason why is for this is because a lot of times on, like, at least Sua, I don't know too much about Magnus, you just stay on Fang Mace, because the extra skill damage is just worth it to stay on, than like switching to Evening Star. But they're trying to emphasize, saying like, look, stop staying on Fang Mace, switch to Evening Star, please. So that's what they're doing. They're just nerfing Fang Mace to tell people that to switch to Evening Star. And Barbara, yeah, Barbara, I think it's like on the stronger end, and so they're nerfing her RQ, which is like the teleport to her turret, and her turret explodes. So that's damage is being nerfed. A little bit interesting, no less, but okay, sure, that's fine. Bernice, a lot of people have been Bernice has kind of been terrorizing a lot of people, so he's being nerfed again. He's been nerfed in the minor patch, and yeah, he's also receiving another nerf, so losing 3 AP, and his ultimate is being nerfed as well. He's losing 50 attack power at all levels initial, and the spread is more for team modes than solos. It can happen in solos if you have 2 enemies really close to each other, or an animal and an enemy. But yeah, this is also getting nerfed as well. So yeah, and Sylvia's going from Sarah 62 fast, so we're turning base power down. Also, utility changes to elegance, so she's losing 2 attack power. It's not that much, to be honest. I think she can get hit with a lot more nerfs. Elegance is the main weapon she builds, which is why they're mentioning elegance. And this is losing 0.03 movement speed, 0.15 vision range, and gaining 2 ammo. The ammo increases are on all pistols, and that's because of the reloading rework they did. That's what they said. And I also mentioned the vision range being nerfed across the board, so it's not just elegance. The movements being nerfed, obviously, is directly targeted at elegance. But Sylvia is going to be... Honestly, I think Sylvia is... Like, even in my tier list, I said Sylvia wasn't looking that good. It's mainly just people don't play her because she's not a fun character to play right now. And they only play her if she's broken and... Oh. Can I go back? There you go. And so she is still... Like, people... When she gets nerfed, like when any character gets nerfed in the game, a lot of people think, oh, they're trash tier now, we're gonna stop playing them because they've been nerfed. But a lot of times the nerf doesn't really do anything, and they're actually completely fine, and people overestimate how much the nerf did. And I think these changes will do absolutely nothing, and Sylvia is completely fine still. And yeah, so I think Sylvia is actually really strong. Probably, honestly, top... I'm gonna say she is top 5 right now. if I have to like give a top 5 best characters, I'd say Sylvia is. She is somewhat she is like harder to learn and like use like effectively, but I think she's just really good, and these nerfs won't do anything to change that. So let's move on. Shoichi. Okay, Shoichi did receive some changes from Maharaja, and he's not really building amp as much as auto, or not really. Sorry, he's building like attack power with like some crit. His passive gains some crit, so he's building crit to compensate for the lack of crit chance he's missing from his passive. So yeah, the main changes which are happening is that he'll create a dagger if the enemy is shielded. So like if Kiara presses W, he'll create a dagger, but they wanted to make sure that when someone has temporal refraction, which is like spell shield, which is on the moon, which like Bianca's main transition weapon, it's on holy orders, on Tellurian timepiece, like just I think those are the ones that I can think of right now. It won't create a dagger because it's being blocked by the spell shield, right? But the actual shields shouldn't block the dagger because it's just a damage shield, not a spell shield, right? So that's all they're changing. They meant to do this last patch, but I think they messed up the coding, so yeah. Sua got some nerfs, and now they're gonna re-buff, or like give her a little bit of her power back. And again, the hammer changes the same thing. They're nerfing Fang Mace, buffing Evening Star, so that people will actually transition to Evening Star and not just sit on Fang Mace the whole game. And yeah, I think I honestly think Sua is probably fine after these buffs. I could be completely wrong with this, but I think she'll be fine with these. Because her passive damage adds up, by the way. Like, it might be like, oh, only 10% AP, so can do much, but her passive autos are like half her damage in her kit, because you're going to be doing spell auto, so 50% of your damage coming from your passive, and buffing the passive damage will have a tremendous effect on how much damage she does over time, so I think she'll be fine. Cicella, so I was saying this a while that Death Rune is incredibly strong, and they've heard me, or I guess heard the community, not really just me, and they have nerfed the power of Hex. So their enhanced basic attack cooldown is going down because they want her to auto more after hitting someone with a spell, and they're nerfing her ultimate damage, and they're changing Death Rune so it gets more percentage amp, but the Hex on it is heavily nerfed and doesn't recharge faster. But the main reason why you use this is because the Hex damage was so good. You can do like 300 damage with the Hex. This is being cut down almost by half. Like, so you're gonna be doing probably closer to like 200, 175 damage now with their Hex. I don't know how much use this will have anymore. So yeah, we'll have to see how it is. Now, like, this is I mainly use this in team modes. Like, the Hex in team modes are so strong. Like, I play Cicella in team modes, or mainly squads as of lately. So yeah, we'll see how this is. Isol's being buffed because Isol kind of sucks right now. So he's getting more pistol skill amp, and they're changing the extra damage based off number of hits slightly. They don't want to make this overpowered because it has been in the past, and it's annoying to face. And I don't know, Pistol Isol, I used to be an Elegance user, but I think he's moved on to Magnum Boa. But yeah, you can just see everyone's gained 2 ammo on their guns. Elegance lost some movement speed, that's mainly because of Sylvia. I was just saying, maybe this will be enough for Isol to be a little bit more relevant than he is right now. We'll have to see. Alex is losing some movement speed from his passive because people can't chase Alex. I do agree with that generally, honestly. It's really hard to catch Alex if he doesn't want to fight you. And the weapon that Alex builds is Electronic Blaster, so Elegance change don't really matter to him. So it's just getting 2 ammo with it. Yon and Aiden. Yon is not going to heal as much from his E, honestly don't think that's gonna matter too much, because he'll still do insane damage to you anyway. So we have Divine Fists. I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure Yon also built Divine Fists, but the thing is he transitioned off Divines to Permafrost as soon as possible. So this change wasn't mainly at him. It does impact his early game, or if he does get Permafrost. But like Dylan was staying on Divine Fist the whole game, so it did impact. It's mainly at Dylan, but all the glove characters generally built Divine Fist for its strength, so it'll affect him a little bit. And we have Aiden. The movement speed increased, moving away from enemies. Max overcharge attacks will be increased. This is just letting him the kite easier. So it is a buff at Aiden. It might. I think this will have a little bit more impact than people think it will, because it's a kiting thing. So if he's able to get better spacing away from enemies, then he can just make sure he doesn't take as much damage and do fine. So yeah, I think this is people will underestimate how much this will do. I could be wrong on that as well, but Elena. I already said what my thoughts were on Elena, and in the hot patch or hot fix. I think I'm gonna start doing videos on the hot fix as well, but they increased the skill amp scaling on her weapon. They really want her to be a spellcaster and not a crit user, and so I think the build that I was gonna use for her is not gonna be that viable. So, but I'll do some testing, I think, later on. Elena's just, for me, not really my playstyle, but maybe with this kit it'll be fine to play her. Yeah, so her passive slow is her passive, which is like the one that it just creates the ice fields on the ground. It's not going to be slowed as much when you're on them. With chill per tick, if you're standing on it, you'll get less, but if you land your Q on an enemy, you'll get double the amount of chill. So they're trying to make it so that people land their skill shots instead of relying on the passive buildup of her chill. And her crystal or Q does more damage as well, both in scaling and attack power. And they've buffed, or like they decreased the cooldowns of her E, which I think was a great decision. I don't know why they had it at 30 seconds in the first place. I think this is a lot more reasonable because she needs to use her E in her combo in order to like actually kill someone. So I think it was a good change. You have Johan. They don't balance around him for solos at all. Like he's not good in solos at all. So we have Radiant Brilliance. His enhanced healing is being buffed, but they're nerfing the sensors movement speed decrease, so people can like actually chase him more. Because the reason why like they put the sensor down so like you're slowed so you can't chase him, but and so you won't be slowed as much, and he'll heal for a bit more as well. We have Jenny. They nerfed Jenny quite hard. Not the last hotfix, but 2 hotfixes ago, like the minor patch between during like the Masters tournament or whatever. And so they're gonna buff her a little bit more because I guess she wasn't performing as well as they wanted her to. And so she's getting a bit more damage on her Q, and it's on a shorter cooldown. But because of her like team mode strongness of her like ultimate, they're not having the movement speed decrease is not as hurting. So if you get caught by Jenny's ultimate, you won't be slowed down as much as you used to be. And again, just right now she's actually building molten malachite, so that didn't get any ammo changes at all. If I've seen her build some Kelt. I know she may build some electron blasters as well, so those are also getting some ammo changes. Jackie and Camillo and Yuki. So 2 patches ago they mentioned they're changing how dual swords work, and this is the patch where they've been implemented. And so now for dual swords, instead of each hit for dual swords doing 100% damage, each hit will only do 80% damage. And this means that if you have 100 attack power and like 0 defense, okay, we're just gonna do ignore defense stuff. You would do 100 damage plus 100 damage. Now, if you have 100 attack power, you're only gonna do 80 damage plus 80 damage. So effectively, you're losing 40% of your damage. But they expect this to hurt them a bit, but they don't want to over nerf it. So you see dual swords getting some buffs on them, some attack power buffs. So like last match, they nerfed all the weapons. I'm pretty sure all of them, even Dioscuri by 3 attack power. Could be wrong, maybe Dioscuri is only nerfed by 2, but they're rebuffing them all back up to 3 this patch. And here specifically for each character, so Jackie is getting a lot of weapon mastery changes, like per what weapon she uses. Dagger's getting buffed because Dagger's the worst weapon type for her. Two-handed sword's also getting buffed because again, this weapon type's also not good. Dual swords is only getting buffed because of the dual sword changes. They expect dual swords to not do nearly as well this patch, so this may be surprising, like, oh, she's getting 4.4% basic attack amp, but this is because their damage is going to be incredibly nerfed for double striking now, and so we'll have to see how much that is, and maybe we'll start focusing on EBAD more. I'm not too sure, because right now you do crit. I think crit probably is still better, but I don't know. With less AP, it might be better to just do EBAD for double striking. We'll have to see. Axe is not getting that much change, to be honest. I think Axe is the best form right now. I don't know why. It just seems like she's getting a slap on the wrist, and not much is being changed about her, to be honest. So yeah, I think the Axe needs a bit more changes than what they're doing. Like, they're buffing the other types, but they're not nerfing Axe, and I think Axe is just way too strong, even if the healing is just being nerfed by 20%. So yeah, we'll see. Camillo, again, he's also a dual sword user, so a bunch of I've already explained the dual sword mechanic chain, but he's using Camillo's already strong anyway, so they are gonna nerf his attack power even with like the dual sword changes, but they're gonna change the scaling for dual sword mastery to be doubled of what it was, and the attack speed is also being increased. He's losing damage on his Q, and as well as the second hit damage when he has like 2 stacks, so he's losing some attack power from that, but he has no delay on his W anymore. But I think this is overall nerf to Camillo, and like the dual sword changes I think will have a massive effect. It's going to be a lot of damage loss overall. And Yuki's also getting his damage changed up, and his like basic attack amp up. Attack speed's also going up. But this is the most interesting thing I've noticed in this patch. They're changing it. If you have dual swords, Yuki Q will do different damage, which I think is very interesting. I didn't know they could do this, which honestly, I think if they're gonna do this, I might as well do this for like a bunch of other spells for the cast. Example would be change Aya's passive to be weaker when she's on assault rifle, but slightly better when on sniper, as an example, because her passives right now just balanced around AR. But if you can change spells based on what weapon they're holding, then you should start looking at spells that impact the character's kit entirely, which would be Aya's passive is a huge one. But yeah, just to know, if you have dual swords, his Q will do 40% less attack power, because you could be crit people. If you saw my dual sword Yuki guide, you would see that you can crit someone for 800 health or do 800 damage to someone late game with a crit on Yuki Q, and they don't want that, so they nerfed it. Felix, they're nerfing his mobility. Right now Felix has like infinite chase, so as long as he lands his third W, and this has been a pain in the butt to deal with, so they're nerfing his base MS. I don't know if it'll be enough to lower his mobility, but they are buffing his attack, or like his basic skill amp, which he doesn't really use skill amp. He's more of an auto attacker, so I don't know. it's just weird about basic skill amp here. Normally, if they buff skill amp, it would just be skill amp. I thought. I don't know. Maybe I just misremembering everything. But yeah, if buffing a skill amp, probably not gonna do too much because people play him as an auto attacker. Okay, Hedgen. These are bow changes. Hedgen doesn't build any of these bows, so it doesn't matter. Rain of Arrows will affect Hedgen the most. I already mentioned that. And her Hedgen's Q is also being nerfed. Hedgen Q used to do like a lot of damage. I mean, it'll still do a lot of damage now, but it's not nearly as much damage as it used to be. Because like Hedgen, yeah, so like she had really good AP on her Q, so it's actually better to build AP for Hedgen Q than like Spitwell Lamp, but this is her AP ratio is being nerfed, at least on the second hit. So if this is no longer like the most damaging mobility spell, it's probably Hyun Woo with his wall slam, like if you actually hit the wall slam. Or you can say Adela, but it's also conditional on her pieces. So, yeah, Hedgen's he's being nerfed. Makes sense. Hedgen's been doing quite well as of lately, so. Now we have weapons. I already mentioned it. They say that the dual sword, Double Strike, was strong early, but would fall off late. But because of how like changed the game to be faster, the dual swords didn't really have a downside anymore, and so they are adjusting it to be 80-80 if I explain it, and they've changed I've already went over it. They gave +3 AP to all of them except for Dioscuri, who only got 2 AP back. And assault rifle overheat improvement. So this is the assault rifle weapon skill. Overheat, which was previously only usable with full overheat stacks, can now cast freely, but will vary in power level based on the number of stacks. Overheat's auto reload mechanic is staying to make up for the removal of manual reloading. So you can see cast now. Okay, the videos written before really confused me. I thought it was saying that at level 1 it was just your overheat stacks, and then level 2 is 10, and I was like, what the heck? Doesn't make any sense, because you're saying at level 1 you can have 50 stacks. So I thought it was like you can get 50 EBAT at level 1, and I was like, this doesn't make any sense at all. Why are they giving you 50 EBAT at level 1 until level 2? But no, they should have put like a bracket around it, because the formula now is your overheat stacks divided by 10, and not this is level 1, that's level 2, like how this was. So it makes sense. The only reason I include that in because they did the brackets around this one. So at level 1 it can last 5 seconds, at level 2 it can last 10 seconds. You can use this whenever you want. You don't have to get max stacks, but you will get the most benefit if you have max stacks. So at max stacks for EBAD you can get up to 5 for level 1, but at level 2 you can get up to 10 EBAD. So it is actually buffing assault rifle weapon skill at level 2 if you get max stacks, obviously, which isn't that hard, to be honest. They are nerfing how hard or how easy it is to get stacks. So before, how it worked with just like AR, so each auto counts as 5 ones, but since assault rifles hit 3 times per auto, you get 15 stacks per auto, and so you'd only have to hit, let's see, 7 times on someone, or like animals, cameras, whatever. And yeah, 7 times, right? 15 times 7. Yeah, it's a little bit less than 7, but it's just, you can't not 3 auto. I guess exception would be to cameras, or if you kill an animal, right? Whatever. Anyways, so you get about like 7 times, and you get your max stacks. Now they're making it lower than that, so it's 4 per hit. So now you need to hit, so you get 12 stacks per auto, so now you have to hit a little bit over 9 times, so you have to hit 2 more attacks, and it's on a shorter cooldown. But yeah, it will be, you won't get it up as quickly. A lot of people have been playing about AR IS specifically. I don't think it really AR ISIL. And the following will still remain same. Overhead exchange reduced by 10 by each second when not basic attacking within 6 seconds. Auto heat will still reload upon usage to increase attack speed. The attack speed limit is also ignored. So yeah, it's, well, let's see how this is in game. I think a fed AR Aya is gonna be more of a pain to deal with now than it used to be, and I think they're gonna nerf level 2 or level 2 overheat. But I think the change for level 1 is fine. I think just level 2 is going to be a little bit too much damage. And so I think I will just win harder, or win more is what they say, if she is able to hit weapon mastery 14. Because generally at that point you're like scaled a lot, you killed a bunch of people, probably have a lot of good transition items, so I think it's just the win more with the changes to level 2 overheat. But yeah, I don't think this will really do much with Piss or Air Isol. I think Air Isol is still just not as good as I am, mainly just because of Aya's passive. And yeah, it's mainly just Aya's passive, and more than anything. Yeah, I already went over like specific weapons. You can see what they are now. Plus 3 attack power. You can see how it is currently. So no more vision range on this weapon, and so yeah, the blue weapon. Okay, so everything that builds into Divine Fist, so Gauntlet, Shattered Shell, they're all losing their movement speed negative, and this is just losing some EBAD, but I think this weapon's still gonna be incredibly strong. And this is gonna lose its or nerf its vision range. They're just nerfing vision range across the board. More ammo, more ammo for everything. The guitar, Stairway to Heaven. By the way, no one builds this guitar, but they're just nerfing the vision range on it because they don't want. They just want to nerf vision range across the board, even though they didn't nerf Celt's vision range. I think they're fine with orc blocks either. So I say across the board, but it's only certain weapons, but it includes Stairway to Heaven, the guitar that no one builds. I don't know, whatever. We know, axe skill, yeah, we already know, and we see, yeah, Hammer of Dagda, which is what 11 builds, is getting its AP increase, but its EBAD decrease. This is because, yeah, 11 has a double strike mechanic on her ultimate, and so this is just showing her ultimate doesn't do as much damage, but they're giving a little bit of AP to compensate. I don't know why Hammer Thor is here instead of whatever. Doesn't matter. Armor is going by 1 down. They want to nerf EBAD. They're realizing how strong EBAD is now, so they're starting to nerf it only by a little bit. But for how EBAD works, you'll notice the effects of like stacking as more. I honestly think they can put Crusaders at like 12 or 11 and people would still build it. But yeah. They're losing their effectiveness. Some changes now with animals is you don't get as much weapon and defense mastery for killing all animals. Like, every single animal's been nerfed. I don't think there's one that was buffed at all. So yeah, you won't get as much weapon and defense mastery for killing animals. We're trying to do this to encourage players to fight other players instead of just AFK farming. So team, this is just a joke from I know like like a lot of the duos meta. I'm not familiar with squads, but as I said, Mai is incredibly strong right now in team mode, so she's seeing some nerfs. Some notable characters, Shoichi is surprisingly being buffed in team modes. I know Shoichi doesn't seem like a team. Okay, not really duos. I can understand duos. He's not a duos character, but if you looked at his stats for squads, he's actually doing really well in high elo squads, and I'm kind of surprised they are buffing him for that. Like Emma makes sense. She's not really used. Elena, I guess because of these changes, and her ult's really good in squad or like team modes in general. Elena's ult. They're buffing Yon, a bit interesting. Nerfing Adriana, that makes sense. Nerfing Sylvia, I guess Sylvia is more prominent than I thought. Dylan gets nerfed 100% makes sense. Buffing Daniel, no one plays Daniel in team modes. Buffing Nathan Pawn, okay, makes sense. Because if someone jumps on Nathan Pawn, he's just dead, so they want his kill combo to actually kill people. And they're buffing Magnus, so again, and buffing Barbara as well. So if you looked at the guides, the duo comp guides with Magnus and the Barbara one, you'll see that those comps have actually been buffed if you want to play those specific comps. I have another comp guide coming out Probably may have it tomorrow. I was supposed to be out yesterday. I'm just sorry, whatever. More team modes, and Kiara is being nerfed. This is a nerf. She's taking more damage. Makes sense. And this is only squads, not duos. Really surprised Kiara didn't see nerfs in duos. I think she's like the best character, or like top 5 best characters in duos right now. So I'm really surprised she isn't seeing any changes. I expected the Adriana changes. Like, she's been doing incredibly well. I expected the Mai changes. And yeah, Jenny changed. She's being buffed. Okay, fine. Felix being buffed. Okay, sure. Some gameplay changes. Items no longer disappear when repositioned inventory while waiting for a revival. Oh my gosh. Okay, I was playing squads the other day, and I like made. Okay, so I was playing Hedgen, and I made golden ratio bow. And I had it in my inventory, and I guess I repositioned it, and I was like, where'd my weapon go? I don't think I dropped it. I was so confused where it went, and I was like, why did my weapon just randomly disappear? I don't understand. And then I suddenly got it back after I went down a second time, and I'm like, what? Where were I? Was so confused. So apparently this was a bug. I didn't realize it, but it makes a lot more sense. Ally vision is no longer provided despite vision reduction debuffs. Okay, sure. Crafting items from a box no longer displays the wrong item being crafted. Yeah, this bug annoyed the heck out of me, guys. Like, I thought I was crafting the wrong item all the time, and okay, I'm glad this changed. Level 10 wolves have been fixed to properly drop special materials. Where level 10 wolves bugged where they actually can drop it. That really sucks if that was the case. If walls are fixed, no longer cancel movement inputs upon being clicked. Okay, I'm surprised they didn't specify which walls, and I've heard this being complained about with dock specifically, where if you click like the water and dock, it would just cancel your movement if things not move you to that point. I don't know. Maybe that's what they mean. It would be great if that was changed. Daniel, cooldown reduction now probably applies when hitting a shielded enemy. Again, shields I guess have kind of screwed things up, especially because they added like temporal refraction. So Leon's deck knight works properly when clicking edge of pool. Sure. Leon split cast no longer follows enemy through hyperloop. Oh my gosh, was this a bug? Oh my gosh, I wish I could have seen this bug. Oh, it was so funny. I thought they didn't have that. Like, rapier skill still does that, and Alex melee melee Q does that still. I didn't realize Luke's Q could do that. Oh, that's so funny. Aiden Bolt Rush no longer shows as available if backstep is blocked. Okay. Fix edge cases in which Echion phrases upon entering overflow. Yeah, there was a bug, or well, is I guess now the patch not out, where if you cast W when you're at 100 rage, it'll give you it's trying to give you a shield, but since you're at 100 rage, it wants to put you in your alt form, and then it just bugs the system out, and then you just freeze and you can't do anything. So yeah, Elena added an effect to differentiate allied and enemy glacial fields. Okay, that makes sense. Like, it'd be a bit confusing. Emma, you can doves from Dove Dealer and hats can now be pinged. Leveling up ground beef will no longer destroy previous created sliders. On air landing range has been adjusted properly matched indicator. Active items no longer can be used during play dead. Yeah, that'd be a bit dumb. Like, imagine were people using the fact like Veritas is healing, so when they're playing dead they activate Veritas, and then they come out and they're not even at like, I don't know, 30-40% HP, and they're suddenly at like 80% HP. And they're just like the mob boss part 2. Anyway, and then Camilo range for Voletta will no longer, okay, well, whatever, will no longer be placed when used with moving command. Okay, sure, whatever. All improvements, week 1 of 3 made it easier, and font size for the tips. Okay, sure. And okay, we'll go over Priya now. Priya's at the end. So we have Priya's kit, her passive. Priya starts with an undetached flower crown that gets upgraded when leveling up Nature's Call. Priya can grow a flower. Okay. Saraswati by casting Blossoming Melody or Portamento, which will fully bloom after 1.5 seconds. A fully bloomed flower of Saraswati can be can be procced. Sorry, I was thinking proceed. This isn't spelled right. Procced by casting Blossoming Melody or Portamento on a flower of Saraswati. I feel like I'm pronouncing that wrong, but and remain for 15 seconds before disappearing and instantly blooms when placed in a bush. The flower disappears 5 seconds after Priya moves out of range just engaged from combat. Okay, so like her kit's all about these flowers being placed and interacting with the flowers. So yeah, you'll see the flowers. Oh yeah, and her crown. You level up her passive. You're leveling up this crown. And like level 3 crown seems really good. Like to me, it seems like you want to level up her passive first, because this crown seems really good. Blossoming Melody. Priya starts. Oh, you know why they probably nerfed that guitars? Probably because of Priya. Actually, I forgot. They probably nerfed the Wonderful Tonight guitars vision because Priya's gonna build it. Honestly, it makes sense now. Priya plays Short Tune the Girl Flower of Saraswati in the targeted location and deals 40 to 170 plus 40 attack power. Range to enemies in range. Flowers cannot be grown on top of existing flowers. Okay. First time Blossoming Melody is reduced by 30% when a fully bloomed flower is procced. Full bloom. Targeting full bloom flower of Saraswati to make it explode into petals, dealing 40 to 120 plus 30% attack power. Damage and knocking back enemies in range. So 7 meters. Damage range 2 meters, and damage when full bloom 2 SP 716. You can have 2 stacks of this. Charge time is 11:7. The cooldown is 1. The reason why there's no cooldown is because they're cooldown for when you can actually plant the flowers anyway. So you can cast, if you have 2 stacks, you can use the stacks pretty much almost immediately, but you gotta wait for them to charge back up. But yeah, currently. And this will probably be maxed first anyways in solos. I'm just thinking this from a solos perspective. You can see the flower being grown, and then when you reactivate it, it like pushes them back. It'll do some damage. Portamento passive. Priya's movement is increased by 11 to 15% for 1 second after stepping on a flower of Saraswati. Priya sends out a screeching sound wave in the targeted direction, dealing 50 to 150 plus 40% attack power damage to enemies hit and slowing them by 20% for 1 second. After casting Portamento, Priya's next basic attack within 3 seconds throws the flower Saraswati under the target. Full bloom. Target a fully bloomed flower Saraswati to shield Priya and her allies in range, absorbing 10 of 70 plus or skilling up times 0.4 damage for 5 seconds. So range 8.5, damage with 1.5, shield range 10, SP cost is fixed at 65, and the cooldown goes from 13 to 9. So as you can tell, as I already mentioned, she's gonna be a Team Smoke character, and this full bloom thing, you're like missing half the benefit for just playing her in solos, because the shield in this for her allies is like really good. Let's see, like if you have 100% skill amp, so it'll be +4. Oh, maybe not really good, but like it's a decent shield, especially since you can trigger this like every 9 seconds or whatever. But yeah, you have to target. The thing is, you have to target a fully bloomed one to get the shield, though. But using this will grow a flower underneath the person, and it will hit them. Okay, I'm just also kind of understanding the kit while reading it here. Harmony of Parvati, or E. Priya sends out 3 surrounding sound waves, each dealing 50 to 170 plus 40% attack power. Damage to enemies within range. Enemies hit twice are grounded for 1 second. Enemies hit 3 times are rooted for 1 second. Blossoming Melody and Portamento can be cast while performing Harmony of Parvati. Effect range 4.5 meters. SP cost 70 to 50 and it has a fixed cooldown of 14 seconds. Fixed cooldown spells generally are leveled up last because you generally want to level up spells with lowering cooldowns, unless the damage is like so worth it that you level it up first. But this damage is quite good, but I don't know if it's level up first worthy at all. And her ultimate, okay, this is honestly, I think her ultimate's really bad, at least in solos. Yeah, I think it's very dodgeable. Oh yeah, Priya plays an earth-shaking serenade, becoming unstoppable but unable to cast other skills or perform basic attacks for 1 second. She then sends a melodic echo, dealing 30 to 180 plus 20% attack power. Damage to enemies. The echo causes roots to grow in 3 parts, starting from the outside, dealing 70 to 190 plus 40% attack power damage and causing enemies in range to dance for 1 second. The flowers of Saraswati in range will bear fruit that instantly heal Priya or her allies by 4 to 8% of their max HP when picked up. So 6 range, SP cost 100, 140, cooldown 100 to 70. This is honestly an extremely long cooldown. Like, cooldowns have been changed for to make them not that long. I guess they think that her ultimate will be really good in team modes, which is why they don't want to have it on a long cooldown. But I think it's not going to be that great in solos. Like, the AP scaling is not that great with that at all. Like, the flowers are good, but you have to make sure you have the plants placed down because you can't cast them while you're in your ultimate. So you want to make sure you have like 2 or 3 of your fruits on the ground to pick up. The other thing is, like, you see it goes like in the outwards. So ideally what you want to do is you kind of want to use you can't even do it. The thing is, like, when you activate your ult, you can't do anything else for 1 second, but what you'd want to do if this wasn't a barrier is you'd use your ult and charm them into your ultimate, but you can't do that because you can't cast any skills. So yeah, I don't know how people are gonna stand in it in solos, really. Like, because you can dodge the effects because it goes outer wave then inner that, and it's not like it's super fast between each wave. Like, if you're the only reason like you'd be in the outer wave and you can just walk out, but if you're like in the middle or inner, you can just dodge. So if you're in the middle ring when the first one ring out, you just want to walk towards the outer ring, and then you won't get hit at all. But yeah, I think this kid's really just team modes oriented. It just seems like worse. Like, if you're playing guitar, I think you just play heart. Like, you have the fruit that spawns on them. You're gonna be building amp on her. There's no way you aren't building. You're not gonna build ebat at all. So you're gonna be building Wonderful Tonight, or what's the other guitar? Is it Satisfaction? No, not Satisfaction. There's enough. Well, I don't know. I don't remember the other amp guitar is. I can picture what it looks like, but I don't remember the name of it. But you're gonna build one of those two. I don't know. I wonder if the charge time is affected by CDR. I'm not sure because the cooldown. I guess not, because cooldown reduction would only affect cooldowns, right? Not charge times. So I guess not. I don't know. I think, but doesn't. I'm pretty sure charge time. I have to read what an MS kit is, but I'm pretty sure like your W, her R's, like there's 2 charges, and there's like not another cooldown. But I think it still affects that, so maybe it does. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have high hopes for Priya, unfortunately, at least in the solos. I'd love to be proven wrong, but I really just don't think her kit is meant for solos at all. Yeah, that's the end of the patch notes. I mainly wanted to give my thoughts here. I will. Okay, so here we are. So, just the thoughts on this patch. My main thoughts for this patch is that nothing has really changed. I don't think the meta has shifted in any way, shape, or form. I think the people who have been doing strong last patch will be strong this patch. I don't think anything's changed. What I was hoping for, I was honestly hoping Sylvia's infected a bit more with the nerfs. That Mai was honestly not buffed. I don't think she really needed to be solo buffed at all. I think she was fine how she was. I don't know why they buffed her. I would expect, honestly, I thought there'd be a little bit more heart nerfs as well. Okay. Sorry, I'll put nerfs. Like, even like Adela wasn't touched at all. and like Lead Island wasn't really touched. Like they touched Glove, but they didn't really touch anything else. So just a lot of like the top tiers weren't really impacted in anything major, in any major way. I think is mainly they expect the pistol change to have like a huge effect, and they didn't want to probably change too much. But I don't know, like they'll just change characters that were doing really well in my opinion. Dual swords, oh yeah, dual swords I think are kind of screwed, or I think they're like heavily nerfed this patch. That's the big thing. And oh yeah, axe, oh yeah, I also want to mention that axe Jackie wasn't really touched either. So I was just hoping for a little bit more meta changes this patch. In the new augments, I don't seem that great to me in my opinion. I could be underestimating the Havoc augment added, but it doesn't seem that good. So I really think this patch felt more minor than the minor patch, to be honest. I think a lot more happened in like some of the minor patches we had as of lately than this patch. So it's I don't know. Can I even say it's a 3 out of 10 patch? Like, it doesn't feel that good to me. But yeah, I guess I want more meta things to happen, and this patch was not it. So yeah, that's really my thoughts for this patch at all. If you like this video, please consider giving a like. It lets me know if you like me doing these patch note videos, because they take me a long time to record. And if you like general terms as much as I do, consider subscribing. I hope to see you at the next video.